Hello. So now we're going to be talking about the descending powers, how to set up a expression with powers in them. We're going to talk about the degree of a polynomial, and then we're going to talk about the types of polynomials. Okay? So descending powers means that you're going to write them in descending order. So this is a 5, this is a 3, this is a 2, this is a 1. Remember, no exponent in the corner always means 1. So that's descending powers. Okay, so we got that, right? The degree of the polynomial is the greatest exponent of the polynomial. And the degree of this expression is going to be 5 because that is the biggest exponent of that problem. There might be a simple question on the test that asks you, what is the degree of this polynomial? And you would put it in descending order. And then you would figure out what the biggest exponent is, and that would be an easy question for you to get on that test. Types of polynomials are monomials, binomials, and trinomials. Monomial is one term, and that could be a negative 3z squared. A binomial is two terms. That would be 4x squared minus 7. And a trinomial is three terms, and that would be a negative q to the fourth plus q to the third minus 2q. And so that would be a trinomial. So that takes care of that. Our next thing up is find the degree of each polynomial. So this is where you would come in and you would figure out what the degree is. And then I have the students tell me what they think it is. But let's see if you can figure it out. And you yell it out on your side and I'll tell you on this side, right? Negative 2t squared plus 3t plus 6. And you're looking at the degrees of 2 or 1, and you would say the biggest exponent is 2, right? I have 15x minus 10, and I would say 1, right? Because 10 doesn't have any variables on it. And then I have 7x plus 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus 1. It's kind of not in that descending order, and I could put it in that order, but I could see that I have a 1, a 2, and a 3, and the biggest of those three numbers is a 3. So if you said those, then you would be right, okay? Now, evaluating a polynomial when x equals negative 2, you're substituting that negative 2 in for that x. You're substituting that value in for the variable. In this case, x equals negative 2. So over here we're going to have negative 5 times negative 2 plus 6. And then you simplify it. Negative 5 times negative 2, negative times a negative is a positive, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 6 is 16. And there you have it. This one you would do 3 times negative 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2 plus 1. And then I have, do your exponents first, right? Negative 2 squared would be 4. And 4 times 3 is 12. Then negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And then bring down the 1. And then you have 12 plus 4 plus 1. 16 plus 1 is 17. And that is how you would evaluate a polynomial when they give you the value of that variable. Okay, next up, like terms. So we're getting into simplifying polynomials. And like terms mean they match. They have 5x squared, 7x squared. They are like terms because they match. I don't know how I can express that any clearer, right? Because these are unlike terms. Why? Because they do not match. 3x, 5y. They don't match. Okay? So they're unlike terms. So you only add and simplify what matches up with one another. So this one is negative 3x plus 7x. Well, 7 minus 3, right? Signs are different. You subtract the numbers and you go with the sign of the bigger number. You can reverse it and say 7 minus 3 is 4 and then bring the variable with it. Okay. Over here, I had this done previously, and so at this point I forgot to erase these, but this helps. It helps the students, sometimes it helps me to keep it clear too. I'm matching the variables, the like terms with one another. So 11x squared plus 2x squared. And then 5 minus 7. If I match them first, it might help me to keep them together in my head, right? And 11 plus 2 is 13, and then x squared. And 5 minus 7, the signs are different. Subtract the numbers, take the sign of the bigger number. If I subtract the numbers, I get a 2, and the sign of the bigger number is a minus sign, so it's a negative 2. And that would be that final answer. And then over here, I have 9x cubed plus x cubed. Remember, any variable with no number in front of it is always a 1. And 9 plus 1 is 10. And I get 10x cubed. Okay. So let's see what's up next. I think we're going to subtract like terms. Subtract, right? Subtract. Or add. Simplify. There we go. I'll get it. We'll simplify this problem. And we want to start by matching up what we have. Now in this problem, they switched a few things around, right? They switched a few things around. And I always like to tell you to rewrite them so you can see how they match. See how this says x squared y, and this one says y x squared. They're the same thing, they just mixed them up. So if I can put those two together, I'm going to do 5x squared y minus 5x squared y. And then I have xy squared, and then I have y squared x. Well, you just flip the x around and you get xy squared. So then I'm going to write that 6xy squared minus 9xy squared, and then I have a plus 4, right? And let me just erase that little mark because it bothers me. Okay, so now I get to put them together, and I notice that 5x squared y minus 5x squared, 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. I'm not going to write 0. I'm just not going to write anything, okay? And then I have 6xy squared minus 9xy squared. 6 minus 9, I have to subtract it and take the sign of the bigger number. It's going to give me a negative 3xy squared. And then I'm going to have plus 4. And that would be my final answer for that one. Next up, adding, right? They're going to tell you to add the following polynomial. And you'll be like, oh, I got this. Because you can see what can match in this binomial with this quadruple, right? It has 4 terms, right? So you're going to do 5x squared minus 2x. And since this is adding, you're just going to add it. So this is what I do. I do up and down with the addition on this one because I only have 2 terms. So I'm going to find the one that matches 5x squared. And then I'm going to do minus 2x. And then I'm just going to put a line, right? And then we're going to bring them down. Each little term we're going to bring down. So we have 7, and it's a positive. But I notice that 2 minus 2, I can cross that out because they cancel out. I have a negative 6x squared plus 5x squared. That's going to give me just an x squared, but a negative x squared because it's negative 6 plus 5. And then I have nothing for the 4x to the 3rd power, and I bring that down. And that would be my final answer for that one. Okay, so then subtraction, a little different, right? And let me write this in a little nicer. Subtraction has a little twist to it. A little twisty goodness is what I call it, right? This minus sign affects what's inside these parentheses. You have to do the opposite. You kind of have to do distribution of that minus sign. And what I do, and I suggest for my students to do, is you write in a little imaginary 1 again, and you multiply that. negative 1 to 2x squared, and negative 1 to negative 11. Okay? So you could rewrite it again if you like, so you know, keep it straight. That would be that. And then you just bring this one down, because it has to go with it, right? And then you could do negative 2x squared. Excuse me. Excuse me. And now I can combine like terms. So I have 5x squared minus 2x squared. 5 minus 2 is 3. And negative 3 plus 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. I just turn it around. And that would be my final answer for that one. Awesome. So now you've done adding, you've done subtracting. Let's see what we have. Oh, another subtraction one. Probably because my class wasn't understanding how to distribute that negative with the minus sign. And this is what you're looking at to whether or not you're going to add or subtract. So you would distribute that negative into here. Fix that too. And then you just do the opposite of what they say, right? Negative times a positive is a negative 5b squared a. Negative times a positive is a negative 2ab. Negative times a negative 3 is a positive 3. And negative times a negative 9b squared is a positive 9b squared. So, okay, what do you do with this? You bring it all down. Bring it all down. And now we match what we have. So I have a 9a squared b squared, and I see nothing that matches it. So I just bring it down. Okay, so he's by himself. But I'm going to do, 3ab squared, 5b squared a. Same thing, just switched around. Switch those around, right? And I have negative 3 and a minus 5, so it's going to be a minus 8ab squared. Boom. I have a 9b squared. I have no other b squares. I'm going to put him in here. I have a 6ab and a minus 2ab. And that's going to be a 4ab. And then I just have a lonesome little 3, and I add him to the end, and I can put little 5 lines down there if I know that's the last thing. And that would be the final answer. Now this 4ab may be before the b squared. When you're doing your test, look at the actual answers. This isn't wrong. It just may be in a order where they didn't have it on the test like that. So it may be minus 8b squared, 4ab, and then 9b squared. But you still got it right. So, okay. So that's going to end our adding, subtracting, and degree in polynomials. So thank you. And you take care and have a great day.